Chapter 24. Purity of the Weapon. The civilian sometimes misconstrues the warrior code. He takes it to be one of simple brutality. Overpower the enemy, show no mercy, win at all costs. But the warrior ethos commands that brute aggression be tempered by self-restraint and guided by moral principle. Soldiers of the Israeli Defense Forces, who often must fight against enemies who target civilians, who strike from or stockpile weapons within houses of worship, and who employ their own women and children as human shields, are taught to act accordingly to a principle called Tohar HaNeshek, purity of the weapon. This derives from two verses in the Old Testament. What it means is that the individual soldier must reckon himself what is the moral use of his weapon and what is the immoral use. When an action is unjust, the warrior must not take it. Alexander and his campaigns always looked beyond the immediate clash to the prospect of making today's foe into tomorrow's ally. After conquering an enemy in the field, his first act was to honor the courage and sacrifice of his antagonists, and to offer the vanquished warriors a place of honor within his own court. By the time Alexander reached India, his army had more fighters from the ranks of his former enemies than those from his own Greeks and Macedonians. Cyrus of Persia believed that the spoils of his victories were meant for one purpose, so that he could surpass his enemies in generosity. I contend against my foes in this arena only, the capacity to be of greater service to them than they are to me. Alexander operated by the same principle. Let us conduct ourselves so that all men wish to be our friends and all fear to be our enemies. The capacity for empathy and self-restraint will serve us powerfully, not only in our external wars, but in the conflicts within our own hearts.